What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Magic Hour. And on this episode, we are reviewing the movie with Brad Pitt called Ad Astra.
Which means?
It means to the stars.
To the stars in Latin.
In Latin. And it is to the stars for sure. I know that Paul did a no spoilers review. But we are about to spoil the hell out this movie.
Yeah.
Well, let's get your thoughts on it.
Well, I noticed you commented on my no spoiler review. You didn't want to watch it after seeing that review. Why was that?
Well, I mean, and in all fairness, your review is spot on. I mean, it was spot on. And It just felt like I'm about to invest 2 hours in my life to watch another cookie cutter version of sci-fi to the stars movie, which they've done so many. And you know, what was the one with Matthew McConaughey in it? Interstellar.
See, that's what I thought it was going to be, more like Interstellar or Contact. Any science fiction movie that has some kind of Stargate, a wormhole, black hole, whatever. Any movie that does that, they're ripping off of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Right.
And from the trailers, it looked like they were going to do that with this movie. And it looked like his father had like, because the whole premise is that his father went on a deep space mission. What was it, Neptune or Uranus or something like that?
Oh, what, the planet?
The planet.
It was Neptune, I think.
Neptune. So he took this ship to Neptune, and I guess he was supposed to look for extraterrestrial life, and then like
he was going to the edge of our galaxy. So because
or the solar system,
or our solar system, sorry, the edge of our solar system, so that they could probe beyond to find what he was convinced was life beyond us. And
which I was kind of confused by, because it wasn't that what the whole purpose of the Hubble telescope, the fact that they put that in space so that it wouldn't be obscured by clouds or anything else.
It's funny you mentioned that, though, because in this movie there was a little Easter egg with that.
Oh yeah.
Because if you'll remember, I don't want to get too far ahead, because, you know, we like to kind of tell the story of what happened in the movie. But remind me that after the Mars part to remind you what I saw, okay? Because there was an Easter egg in there of something that was floating in space. And they just zipped by it real fast.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't see
But
that.
Anyway, so I'll start with the story. So Brad Pitt is an astronaut who, again, like you said in your no spoilers, they say sometime in the future is how they refer to what time period it is. It looks very similar to now,
Right.
except we've now conquered commercial space travel.
Right.
We've
and they just don't have like a little settlement on the moon. It's a freaking city. I mean, it's got a mall and hotels and everything. So there is no way
they've got the cowboy from Vegas.
Yeah,
that cowboy is up there on the moon.
So you know how long it would take for them to make a settlement that big on the moon?
I know, and all the stuff that they would have to get up there.
Yeah, so I was thinking there is no way, like I was comparing it to the Martian. There is no way this is like 30 years in the future. This is like gotta be like 200 years in the future, because there's no way we would have a settlement.
But that is the only evidence that it was 200 years in the future, is that you know, common sense tells you what they built there and on Mars, for that matter, had to take just, I mean, an insane, and they have harnessed antimatter.
So what was he? That's the thing. That's one of the questions I came away from with the movie. I was like, what was he supposed to be doing with antimatter?
he was shooting it into the atmosphere of Neptune, which was causing these electrical...
But why? What was the experiment that... Because there was supposed to be some secret experiment that he was conducting for the military or something.
I guess the use of antimatter as a weapon.
See, because this is the thing. Antimatter, if you watch Star Trek, they use antimatter to power the warp drive.
Right, and that's what that ship was powered by.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, so I kind of missed that whole explanation. I was like...
But I think it was powered by it, but they were also doing experiments with the antimatter as a weapon.
Okay.
So, I mean, that kind of gives away what happens. So the Earth is experiencing these electric, what are they, space electric
surges.
EMPs from space, and it's devastating. They have built this huge international antenna, right?
Right.
And the movie opens up with that's where Brad Pitt's character,
Is
Roy
working.
McBride, is working on that antenna. And it's kind of like not quite all the way in space. It's what, the stratosphere?
It's like in low
orbit.
Low orbit. It's not really in orbit because it's connected.
And it's got gravity because when they fall off of it, you know, they're being pulled towards Earth.
It's in low orbit, but it's reaching the low orbit of Earth's atmosphere, but it's still...
Isn't that called the
connected to
stratosphere?
Yeah,
I think so.
I guess. Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, if not, my bad. Not an astronaut.
There's somebody throwing their telescope at the
Yeah,
television right now.
I'm turning this shit off.
Or throwing their phone. Who did these?
But anyway,
These guys are idiots.
They're having these impulses or these pulses, and so the Space Command calls him in to discuss why he fell off. That's what he thinks.
Yeah.
About him falling off, and he saves himself with the parachute. It was pretty action packed. But there was a lot of action in this movie.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
I was too. Even in the weird parts of it, you're like, okay, they got 79 days to get to Mars, and then they find a way to throw some action in there.
Right.
But anyway, so he goes into the office with Spacecom, and they tell him, you know, we didn't really call you in here to talk about your fall. So I guess a little more of the backstory is his dad was this great astronaut named Clifford McBride, played by Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Great actor, freaking phenomenal actor. And his dad was on this, I can't remember the name of the ship. Do you remember the name of the ship? Mm-hmm. But anyway, he was on this ship that went out to the edge of the solar system and went missing. And he'd been missing for 16 years, they said?
Yeah.
So
he sent some messages back saying there was a mutiny on the ship, people wanting to go back home.
But he didn't find this out till later. Because when they're telling him, they did not explain that there was any contact. They just said, we believe he's still alive.
Oh, okay.
He didn't find out there was a mutiny until he was on his way.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so they send him because they're like, if he is still alive, we want you to try to talk some sense into him. And
it's basically just set up from, like I was saying, it's set up from Apocalypse Now.
Right.
Because they had the same type of scene in Apocalypse Now. He meets with these generals or whatever, and they tell this guy's the only real difference between it and Apocalypse Now is that in Apocalypse Now he's not related to Colonel Kurtz.
Right.
But it's the same thing. Oh, this guy has gone off the reservation. We need you to. Well, they actually tell him to kill him, but he goes and tries to talk some sense into Colonel Kurtz, and it doesn't go well.
So this is pretty much the same premise.
Same premise. In fact, there was a scene. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So
you take over from here.
So yeah, they tell him they want to keep it on the down low. So they tell him he's going to take a commercial flight to the moon, and he does. And
because it's top secret and he's going undercover.
Right. So that really didn't make any sense because you're in the public and you're a well-known astronaut taking a commercial flight to the moon.
As yourself.
As yourself. That how is that?
And I just want to point out
if
one
you
thing.
take a military transport, nobody would know. So how is that?
Right.
So I went with I'm not.
Right. Well, they had to do it so they could show you how much a pillow and a blanket was going to cost.
I think, that was part of the whole thing about the world building. They want to show you, people, can go commercially, and they want to show you the process.
And they've got stewardesses.
Yeah, and all that.
They're just wearing astronaut suits. But
so I think that was a little bit. They just decided this would be a little bit more interesting than him just going on some military transport. So he goes to the moon, and they tell him he's going to take another ship that's going to Mars so that he can get a direct line of sight communication, laser communication to his father. He has to go to the dark side of the moon where they have the military has a base, and they tell him, they set up this whole another action scene that's going to happen. The guy tells him, I guess it's a colonel or something, tells him, or a captain, tells him that something he probably already knows, but he tells him because the audience has to know.
We have to know, right?
He tells them that there's so many different countries that have claim on the moon that they might be in danger of being attacked by pirates.
Yeah, because the moon has been broken up into sectors, right?
Yeah, and nobody has a actual claim to any part of the moon, so. They leave the base, and of course, the first thing that happens is they're attacked by pirates, which was a pretty cool scene, I thought.
Yeah, it was. Hey, I've never seen
a
car chase on the moon.
On the moon.
In moon buggies and a shootout.
Yeah, never. That's something I've never seen in any movie.
Oh, and apparently
I like that part where he jumps off like a crater, and like the moon rover just keeps floating
in the just
because of there's not there's gravity, but it's not. It's like 1/6 of what's here on Earth. I like that. And then they're driving, trying to get away from the pirates, and of course the black guy dies first. Everybody in his escort dies, but the black guy specifically gets shot first.
In the face.
In the face.
He gets shot in the face on the moon, driving a moon buggy.
I said, okay, I've never seen a scene like that, but that I've seen.
See, he's like, well, I am the first black guy to get killed on the moon in a car chase.
So anyway, they get to the dark side of the moon, and the pirates immediately turn back. So
well, no, they fired rockets at them.
Did they?
Remember? When they crested the top of the crater they landed in, these two projectiles come flying over, and then you just see this big explosion. And then, we can't we got to remember to mention Donald Sutherland's 5 minutes of movie.
Everybody had like 5 minutes.
I know, this was the Brad Pitt show.
There was nobody on the screen more than 5 minutes.
Other than Tommy Lee Jones.
He was only there for 5 minutes.
Well, he was there for about 10 minutes, but this was and when Brad Pitt isn't talking to other characters or acting in the, he's narrating.
He's
himself.
narrating just like Apocalypse Now. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah, I think that this was heavily influenced by Apocalypse Now. I do. And I'm not saying that I didn't like it, but apparently this thing is not creating the buzz that a lot of the movies you and I reviewed. My theater had 4 people in it.
You did go to a very early morning.
Well, yeah, but like I said to you, I went to watch It 2, and it was slam full at 10 o'clock in the morning. I like going at 10 because there's hardly anybody there.
Yeah. Well, so they set off from the moon in a military transport, and I swear to you, they have a scene that they took almost word from Apocalypse Now, because they on the way to Mars, they're going to Mars. They come across a distress call from a Norwegian ship.
It was a science and research ship.
Yeah, and the guy, the captain on the ship that Brad Pitt is on tells, we got to stop. But Brad Pitt says, no, y'all wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for me. That's exactly what he says in Apocalypse. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
scene?
we wouldn't even be here
if it wasn't for me. So we need to keep going. And the captain says, you just along here. You just along for the ride.
What's up, Chief?
A junk boat, Captain. We're going to take a routine check.
Well, let's forget routine now and let him go.
These boats are running supplies in this delta, Captain. I'm going to take a look.
Chief, my mission's got priority here. Hell, you wouldn't even be in this part of the river if it wasn't for me.
Until we reach your destination, Captain, you're just on for the ride.
You can commandeer the vessel, but you got to tell us why.
Right,
and you're
right.
like, never mind.
I was like, this is exactly the scene from Apocalypse Now, and I bet somebody's going to die.
And this is the only space movie where you'll see somebody get their face eaten by a monkey.
Man, that's another. Because remember my no spoiler review, I was like, there's some other scenes of stuff I've never seen in a movie. Brad Pitt goes on this ship with the captain, and he's going a different way. I guess the ship got hit by the surge and killed everybody. But Brad Pitt's like, he's going down the airlock and he's like calling the captain, and the captain isn't responding. So he turns back and he sees this monkey eating on the captain. Just ate his
hand and his face.
Yeah. And I was like, what the heck that scene weirded me out.
It weirded me out too, because I was
like, why is there a monkey on this ship?
Because they were doing animal research.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Because
you didn't see the mouse floating around in the.
Oh no! I just assumed that this must be some kind. I think they did say it was a biomedical ship or something. So
they said it was a scientific and research vessel that did something and animal research is what they said.
Yeah.
So they did mention that before they went on board.
So.
Mine's a little fresher because I just watched it a couple hours ago.
So Brad Pitt gets the hell out of there and like he depressurizes the chamber that the monkey's in and kills him, and he gets out of there.
And then he duct tapes some boy's helmet and floats him back across space.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Duct tape, the ultimate tool, even in space.
That would not work. You would freeze.
It didn't work. Dude was dead when he got back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
hey,
what was the point of that scene? It didn't add anything.
I just
plot.
think that it was to raise the energy, to put some more interest. I mean, if they were just flying through space, I think that if they they'd have taken the time they took to do that, I guess is also like you said, nobody's ever seen a monkey eat a person in space before. So maybe that was where
did they get this idea? This is like something that Kubrick thought up in a dream.
I'm telling you,
because
all these guys are on acid, man. They have to be.
Because if you think about it, 2001 had monkeys, and 2001 had people in space, but they didn't have the monkeys in space.
I would love to hear the director's response to was this inspired by Apocalypse Now. I'd love because
that scene, man, that scene was. I'm telling you,
the more that I think about it, the more I see similarities to it. You know, because like in Apocalypse Now, he tries to bring him into the fold. You know, when he shows up, and that's what Tommy Lee Jones did. He's like, you and I, we could continue this mission. I need someone like you. Well, Brad Pitt's already planted the bomb, so you know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but they get to Mars, and he goes underground and gets on some kind of broadcast thing and sends a message to his father, and they get a response from his father, but they don't reveal what it was, and they tell him, well, you're not going on the rest. You're not, because
your heart rate
Right.
went above 80.
Because his whole thing is that at the beginning of the movie, they establish his heart rate never goes above 80.
Yeah. Because
he's
they
that good.
and they spent a lot of time at the beginning of the movie establishing the fact that Brad Pitt's character, Roy, is this stone cold perfectionist. What's another verb for what type of person he is? But he's just like 100% professional. He's on the job man, and they spend a lot of time establishing that for the audience, so that they can use it later on to have his personality change just slightly, but that's way too much. You got to go back.
Yeah, they tell him you can't go. Dude, the rest of the trip.
Most people would be losing their shit at this point, you know. Mm-hmm. And he's just like in private in a room. He's punching a wall and my dad, whatever, you know. But I mean, ultimately, when he's working, even after okay, I'm getting ahead of us. So
well, what happens is this Ruth Negga actress. I actually looked at her stuff. She's actually done some interesting movies.
I've seen her before.
I didn't know she was black. I thought she was Latino, but I figured it out later that she's actually black.
She's pretty.
Yeah. So she talks to Brad Pitt.
Therefore, she has value. My bad. My bad.
Let's not start that now. Come on. But she establishes the thing about the mutiny and tells Brad Pitt that her parents was on that mission and that they got killed by Tommy Lee Jones because he killed when they were mutinying on the ship. He killed everybody, the people that were trying to mutiny and the people that weren't trying to mutiny. He just killed everybody. So,
and he said in that part that apparently when he cut off their life support in a section, like a big section of it.
Yeah.
And I guess he just kept the bridge alive. Mm-hmm. So there were still some people that were, at this point, were agreeing with him to stay alive because he's killing folks, right? And then he says that those people, the remaining people, tried to escape, and that's what caused the antimatter leak to happen.
Oh, really?
That's what he said. But okay. I think that he was firing. Because they had the satellite dish with, pointed at the planet, that he was firing that antimatter at it. I think he was doing it on purpose. Because I think that he was so far gone, and that he knew that the Earth, he's like, Earth means nothing to me. I have nothing there. This is my home. So I think he knew what he was doing. I think he was trying to destroy Earth. Because they didn't have his back.
Right.
I mean, and that's my opinion. They didn't say that. It's just, that's what I took from that whole situation. And then when Brad Pitt, well, I guess we need to get to that point. So,
well, what happens is Ruth Negga's character, Helen Lantos, she helps Brad Pitt sneak on the spacecraft, and he kills everybody.
He didn't mean to.
He didn't mean to, but
he didn't want to. But
what happened with the little oxygen tank?
That was not oxygen. That was like carbon monoxide or something.
Why would they have a carbon monoxide?
Well, because it may not have been. It might have been hydrogen or something else.
It was something, but it
sucked all the oxygen out of the air.
He tells them he has no hostile intent, and they attack him anyway. And
because command tells them to.
Yeah, and one astronaut gets killed by the force of the afterburners or whatever.
Yeah, when separation happened.
Yes, black woman. She's the first one that gets killed. I always the black person first.
Come on now.
Seriously, man, think about it.
She was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
She didn't even fight him. She hit like a wall and died. And then I forgot what happened.
Then the other guy, the Asian dude, is fighting him with a knife because that's stereotypical too. And you're in space, floating around. He pulled out a knife, and he's like kicking him, and whatever. We can let that one slide.
He knocks open that canister, and then
No. The other captain that froze up on them landing on Mars. Remember him?
Yeah.
He shoots at him with the gun and hits that canister, and it sucks all the oxygen out of the air. Well, Brad Pitt's still in his spacesuit that he was in to get on the ship.
Yeah.
So he wasn't affected by it.
And they all died.
But the guy that just shot at him and tried to kill him, Brad Pitt goes to him and tries to rescue him. Right. Okay. That's what I'm going to do is like, the guy shoots at me, let me go help him.
That was just a little bit too convenient. Everybody dies like that.
But it's kind of cold-hearted, which it's probably true in space. Because you don't want to be flying around your ship with a bunch of dead bodies on it. Yeah. But every time somebody dies on it, they just shoot them off into space. Yeah. Some cold-hearted stuff, man.
So he travels to Mars, and not to Mars, to Neptune, and he takes a little capsule down to the ship, and he gets on, and he talks to his dad, and his dad is crazy, obviously.
Bananas. He's completely bananas.
And
his dad's like,
but he tries to make
Hey, Roy, is that you? Some dude setting a bomb. Roy, is that my son?
He pretty much tells Brad Pitt that he never cared about him or his mother. He only cared about this mission and finding this extraterrestrial life. And Brad Pitt naturally says, "Let's go, Dad."
Yeah. Come on, Dad. I'm taking
you home. And they get out there like...
You didn't fail.
And his dad immediately hits his thrusters. Says, let me go. He's not going back to Earth. So Brad Pitt lets him go. Then there's another scene I've never seen in a movie. Brad Pitt gets that
was a cool scene.
A steel piece off the ship, and
he uses the momentum of the satellite thing that's spinning around.
And because the ship, to get back to his ship, he has to go through the ring around Neptune,
which is just a bunch of rocks.
Yeah. So he uses the shield of that to shield himself from the rocks. That was pretty cool.
And he also used the spinning of that satellite or sonar, whatever it was, to launch him, because he waited. Like if you watch it, he waited until it came around, and then when it came around, he jumped off with the shield, and it shot him straight to his ship that was probably about 5,000 miles away.
So then the ship explodes because he set a nuclear bomb on his dad's ship, and he uses the shockwave,
the shockwave,
to ride back to Earth.
9 billion miles away. I think it was like 9.7 billion miles away.
So I don't know.
and he wakes up and he's got a beard about the size of mine.
I'm not a scientist, but that seemed a little far-fetched to me. Yeah. I don't know.
I can't wait for the NASA astronaut watches Ad Astra on YouTube.
So there was more silly things in this movie than I actually remember. But on the other hand, like I said, there was
That's what I'm here for.
There was at least 4 scenes of things that I'd never seen in a movie. The Land Rover, I keep saying Land Rover.
Moon Rover.
The Moon Rover chase, the monkey attack on the ship, the surfing through the
ether,
the rings around Neptune, and then I guess the 4th one would be that antenna he was on and he fell off of. Oh, well, I guess that wasn't really that unique, but it has some interesting things in it.
A space antenna.
Yeah,
we've never seen one of those.
Right.
Well, that's not true, because I guess we saw something similar to that in what was the name of that movie? It wasn't a space antenna, it was an elevator. Dang it, I can't remember the name of it.
Which one?
It was a movie about this young boy who went up into space and they were going to fight these bad guys. And so they were training all these kids on this space station. And they had to take a space elevator to
Oh,
get
you're
there.
talking about, what is that movie? Ender's Game?
Yes.
They had a space elevator in that movie?
Yes, didn't they? I'm pretty sure they did. Maybe they didn't, and I'm just like remembering a book I read or something.
I don't remember one. But
No, you're right. They didn't because they had to take a ship up there.
yeah, it was like a space station. But what I would say about this movie, it did have at the end of the movie, he realizes that in a lot of ways he's like his dad, that he's lost touch with humanity in his quest to be an astronaut. And he reconnects with his wife. She comes back. And he has this whole thing where he says his father could not accept the fact that there was no extraterrestrial life. That's why he went crazy. And something about
and that
accepting.
Because he didn't see what he wanted to, he couldn't see what he saw. So
Yeah.
he was like, he made a lot of great discoveries about the universe. And then he said something like, and we're all we got.
Yeah. So they try to end it on a philosophical note. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of interesting. Okay, that works, I guess.
Yeah, and he gets back with Liv Tyler, and she gets 3 more seconds of screen time.
She seriously did not.
I wonder.
I was like,
I wonder how much they had to pay her for one minute of screen time. Like $100
I
million.
felt bad for everybody who co-starred in this movie. I felt bad for them because they had nothing.
We'll
They
just
literally had nothing.
we'll just
to work
rename
with.
the movie The Brad Pitt Show. Brad Pitt in space. But I like Brad Pitt. I mean, there's not many movies where I can say that I didn't like him.
Did you not feel like I felt that anybody could have played that part?
Absolutely.
I could have done that part.
100%. I mean, aside from...
He had no emotion. He was pretty much like one of those astronauts from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
There was that one monologue where the camera was like in his beard. It was like right here. And he was having that pretty emotional monologue. But that was it. The rest of it could have been played by the monkeys from that other ship.
Yeah, I was kind of that kind of disappointed me that we didn't get. Man, we give us a little bit of personality. I mean, I understand astronauts don't have personality. Have you ever seen the interview that Neil Armstrong does after their trip?
Well, dude, their whole lives are this structure. Most of them were, they went to some private schools, and then they went into the military, and then they joined NASA. And so their whole lives they've been told when to eat, sleep, think, whatever. Every move they make has been structured.
They basically become zombies.
Yeah, and they're machines. They're machines.
Right.
And he played a machine.
Right. That went into the whole, I guess, theme of the movie, that him and his father had become detached from humanity, but he manages to go back to his humanity at the end. So,
and all it took was a 9.7 billion mile trip.
So what
I've heard about going and finding yourself, but damn.
So what score would you give this movie?
I'm gonna agree with your initial score of 3.5 because I was entertained. I was entertained from pretty much from the beginning to the end. But I've seen better movies. I've seen better space movies.
Right.
And that none of the acting went off the charts. I mean, none of it. Nobody's. And I mean, Brad Pitt was the only one acting, but his acting was very subdued.
Yeah.
I mean, his acting in the last movie we reviewed.
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was way better.
Way better.
Way better. So I would give it 3.5 stars because you will be entertained. Whether you want to pay whatever your theater is, $10 to go see it, that's your choice on a 3.5.
It's an interesting movie, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
I think that I would have been just as entertained at home watching it.
I seriously thought it was going to be 2001, some modern interpretation, and you were going to be like going, huh? What just happened at the end of the movie?
Oh my God! Well, I mean, I did do the oh my God with the monkey ate the dude's face, but that was about the most emotional I got in the whole movie. Because the rest of it was like, okay, now he's gonna go try to rescue his dad and talk some sense into him. I kind of thought that Tommy Lee Jones would fight him in the end. Yeah. Not just like what he did, right, but actually try to like fight him, see him as the enemy. Right. You know, and then you'd have this super action sequence of him trying to get back to the bomb and set it off, you know, and Tommy Lee Jones is grabbing him by the ankle and pulling him back right as he's about to hit the switch. Yeah. But it didn't get there.
Oh well.
There was a missed opportunity.
Missed a lot of missed opportunity. Well, that's all we got for today, folks. I'd like to thank my subscribers. We're just
keep
growing
doing
and growing.
Keep subscribing.
And we got to hit the bell. Somebody at work, you told me about the little bell. You got to hit the bell so that you get notifications.
You got to click on that bell and hit all so that you can get notified every time we upload.
Because we upload new video. We upload just the best content on YouTube.
Absolutely, man. Your life will not be the same without clicking on that bell.
We did a sushi video, for God's sake.
I know.
Who does sushi videos?
Who can make a sushi video interesting?
That's right. Man, folks.
Stay tuned.
Tell your mother, your father, your sisters, your brother. Tell everybody about us.
And next we'll be eating some ribs.
But that's all we got for today. Thank you for watching, and we will see you when we see you.
Take it easy.